I'm clipping a narrow 3-tier vertical planter to a tiny apartment balcony railing and filling it with herbs and lettuce, turning a bare 3-foot strip of metal into a lush wall of food you can harvest every single week by the end of this video. Most people waste the best growing space on a small balcony, the railings and walls. In this video, you're going to turn that dead vertical space into a productive mini garden using one simple system that fits almost any balcony, even if you only have about 2 feet of rail to work with. By the end, you'll know exactly what to buy, how to set it up, what to plant, and how to water it so you get a steady supply of herbs and greens without cluttering your floor or blocking your door. Step 1 is choosing the right vertical system for a small balcony. For this setup, you want a railing-mounted tiered planter that hangs on the outside or inside of your balcony rail and goes up, not out. Look for a planter with at least 3 tiers, each about 18 to 24 inches long, with built-in drainage holes and sturdy adjustable brackets that can clamp onto round or flat railings. Plastic or UV-stable resin is ideal because it's lightweight but strong, so you're not overloading your balcony structure. If you can't find one unit with 3 tiers, you can use 3 separate railing planters stacked close together along the rail to create that same vertical wall effect. Next, measure and plan your exact growing zone so everything fits and drains safely. Take a tape measure and check the length of the rail section you'll use and the thickness of the railing where the brackets will clamp on. Aim for a section that gets at least 4 to 6 hours of light per day, even if that light is morning or late afternoon sun. Make sure you can still open your balcony door and move around without bumping into the planters. Visualize the tiers stacked from about knee height to just below your eye level so you can easily reach everything. Mark the rail with a piece of painter's tape where each bracket will go so your system hangs straight and balanced. Now gather your materials so you can set this up in one go. You'll need your vertical railing planter system, high-quality potting mix labeled for containers, not garden soil, a small bag of perlite or cocoa coir to improve drainage, slow-release organic fertilizer pellets, and your starter plants. For a high-yield, low-maintenance setup, choose compact herbs and cut-and-come-again greens. Think basil, mint, chives, parsley, cilantro, thyme, plus loose-leaf lettuce and spinach. Each pocket or section should hold 2 to 3 small plants, so for a 3-tier system with 6 to 9 sections, you're aiming for around 12 to 18 plants total. Keep a small hand trowel and watering can or hose with a gentle spray head nearby. Before you hang anything on the railing, prep your soil mix so your plants can thrive in that limited root space. In a large bucket or tub, combine potting mix with a couple of generous handfuls of perlite or cocoa coir to keep it light and airy. Sprinkle in the recommended amount of slow-release fertilizer, and mix thoroughly so every scoop of soil your plants get is already loaded with nutrients. The mix should feel loose and fluffy, not heavy or muddy, and it should clump lightly when squeezed, but fall apart easily when you open your hand. This is what will keep roots happy in those slim vertical planters. Now it's time to attach the vertical planter to your balcony safely. Adjust the brackets to match the width and shape of your railing, then hook the empty planter onto the marked section of the rail. Make sure each bracket is tightened firmly so the planter doesn't wobble or tilt. If your system has separate tiers, start with the lowest one, secure it, then add the middle and top, checking that the weight is evenly distributed and nothing blocks your view or leans dangerously over the edge. Gently push and pull the planter to test stability before adding any soil. This step is what keeps your garden secure in wind and rain. With the frame secure, you can now fill and plant your vertical garden. Start by adding a shallow layer of soil mix into the bottom of each tier, then gently tap the planter so the mix settles into corners. Continue filling until each section is about 1 to 2 inches below the rim to leave space for watering. Take each seedling out of its nursery pot by squeezing the sides and supporting the stem, then loosen the roots lightly with your fingers. Plant taller herbs like basil, mint, and parsley in the upper and middle tiers where they'll get the most light, and tuck leafy greens like lettuce and spinach into the lower tier where it may be slightly cooler and more shaded. Space the plants so their leaves are just touching, not overcrowded, giving them room to fill in and create that lush wall of green. Once everything is planted, give your new vertical garden its first deep drink. Using a watering can with a rose head or a hose with a gentle spray setting, water slowly from the top so moisture trickles down through the tiers. Watch for excess water draining from the bottom so you know the whole column is hydrated. If your balcony floor can't handle runoff, slide a slim tray or saucer underneath the bottom tier to catch drips, but make sure water doesn't pool there for long. This first thorough watering helps the soil settle around the roots and reduces transplant shock, which means your plants start growing sooner. To keep your vertical garden thriving with minimal effort, follow a simple weekly routine. Check soil moisture by sticking your finger about an inch deep, water when it feels dry at that depth, usually every 1 to 3 days depending on heat and wind. Harvest by snipping outer leaves of lettuce and spinach, and trimming herb stems just above a set of leaves so they bush out instead of getting leggy. Every month, top dress with a small pinch of slow-release fertilizer around each plant, and gently scratch it into the surface. Rotate the entire planter left or right every week if one side gets more sun, so growth stays even, and your garden looks full from all angles. By now, your once empty railing has transformed into a compact, productive wall of food, turning a tiny balcony into a functional garden without stealing any floor space. You've learned how to choose the right vertical system, measure and mount it safely, build a light but nutrient-rich soil mix, plant smart with herbs and greens, and maintain everything with a quick weekly routine. Follow these steps and in just a few weeks you'll be harvesting fresh leaves and herbs right outside your door, from a space most people never even think to use. If this helped you see how much you can grow on a small balcony, even with just a little bit of railing space, tap like to let the algorithm know more balcony gardeners need this. Subscribe to Balcony Garden Oasis for more tiny space garden builds, and comment below with what you'd plant first in your own vertical balcony garden so I can tailor future tutorials to your space.